Sir, go away. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's CozyCrochetMonster, and today I have a really exciting project planned. So today we will be making a crochet bag. So this is a different bag than the one I sell on my Etsy shop. Somewhat similar, it is much bigger though, and I'm really excited to get started. So you will need a 6mm crochet hook, and then your yarn. So I'm using Big Twist Living. So it's an anti-pilling acrylic yarn. It's in Spa, that is the color. It's like a minty green blue. I'm going to be using 3 of the blue and then 1 of the pink, and this is what I'll be using for my bag. So let's get started. So for this project, you should note that we are going to be using 2 strands at the same time. So this is just 2 balls of yarn. I already wrapped up in my neat little balls like that, so they're easily to unravel. But so you're gonna use 2 strands. So this can be a little difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. So like you basically just hold it as if it's one. So we're gonna make a slip knot. Put it on our hook like that, okay? So then we're going to chain 35. Okay, so I finished my 35 chains. Then I'm going to chain 1 extra for a turning chain. So this is going to be a fairly large bag. So this is going to be the base of the bag, and we're going to work around the chain, so the front side, and then instead of chaining 1 and turning, we're going to turn and work around the side, okay? So first, we're going to single crochet 3 times into that first stitch. Just like that, okay? So it's like you're increasing, but you just do 3 in the 1 stitch. And then single crochet all the way down your chain. Okay, so I just finished my second to last stitch. So now in the very last stitch, I'm going to crochet 3 times, just like in the beginning. So this can be a little difficult, so you might want to crochet twice in the stitch and then kind of turn it and work the back side of it like that. That's what I typically do. And so you can work over your tail if you want, you don't have to. Okay, so this is where, it'll twist it up on me. Okay, so this is where it gets a little tricky. So you're going to be working in the back side of the stitches. So if you've never done this before, it is a little confusing at first, but what I like to just keep in mind is on camera it shows up really well, but these little holes, you're basically just going to crochet into those because those are the opposite side of the spaces. So the first one we're going to crochet in is this one right here. So I'm going to insert my hook and single crochet, and then I'm going to find the next one, which is right here, and single crochet, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way across. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row, and I'm just going to single crochet in this last hole right there, and that is it for row 1. So what you should have, lays out straight, is a almost ovular shape. So it's a rectangle with rounded edges like that, and this will be the base of our bag. So we'll expand outward and then up like that, okay? So beginning row 2, we're going to single crochet twice into this next stitch. So no slip stitching to join and chaining 1. We're just gonna get right in there. So once, twice. Then in the next stitch, we're going to crochet twice as well. Oops, okay. And then you may have guessed, the next stitch, we're going to crochet twice. Okay. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 33 stitches, okay? I'll meet you back there. So I am just nearing the end of my 33 stitches, and there we go. So now if you can kind of pull apart your stitches, you can see that the next 3 stitches are the ones of the rounding turn. So in those, we're going to single crochet twice into each of them. Okay, and then once you finish that, you're going to single crochet 33 stitches all the way down, and you should kind of be able to tell from where that bump is that that's the end of the row. Okay, so I'm just nearing the end of my row. That's my last stitch. So if you go around and count all of your stitches, you should have 72, I believe. Yes, you should have 72 stitches, okay? So that's the 33, the 33, 33, 6, and 6. Okay, so now on to row 3. So in this next stitch, we're going to single crochet twice. Oops, let me grab some more yarn. Okay. And then in that very next stitch, so we single crochet twice in that first stitch. The next one, we're just going to single crochet once and then repeat that. The 2 and 1. So 2 single crochets in the one stitch. Then the next stitch, just 1 single crochet. Then repeat that once more. 2 in the same stitch. And then 1. Now single crochet 33 times down the side. Okay, so I just finished the 33 stitches. Now again on this side, we're going to repeat what we just did on the other side. So single crochet twice in the next stitch, single crochet once, single crochet twice in the next stitch, and then once again in the next stitch, and then lastly repeat that again, 2 and 1. Okay, so now you're just going to repeat 33 stitches down the side. You should kind of see a pattern happening. Okay, I'm back again towards the end of my row. There's the last stitch. So that was row 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so row 3 done. You should have 84 stitches. Okay, so you should kind of see it's taking more of that ovular shape, just like that. So we're going to keep building it out for a couple more rows, and then we're going to go straight up and make our bag. Okay, row 4. So you're going to single crochet twice in the next stitch, single crochet once in the next 2 stitches, single crochet twice in the next stitch, single crochet once in the next 2 stitches, and then finally single crochet twice in the next stitch and once in the next 2 stitches, and then just repeat the 33 single crochets across. Okay, so I just finished my row. So now or the side, and now we're going to do the other rounded piece. So crochet twice into the next stitch, crochet once into the next 2 stitches, crochet twice into the next stitch, single crochet, once into the next 2 stitches, then single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then single crochet once into the next 2 stitches. Okay, Then for the rest of the row, just single crochet all the way across, 33 stitches. Okay, so just finishing up my 4th row. So you should have 90 stitches in your 4th row. Okay, to start row 5, we're going to single crochet twice into the next stitch. Then single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. Single crochet twice into the next stitch. And then single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. And then lastly, single crochet twice into the next stitch. And then single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. Make sure you get under both loops and you get both threads of yarn. It can be a little tricky. Okay, then just single crochet across for the next 33 stitches. So now I just finished my 33 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet twice to the next stitch and then single crochet once to the next 3 stitches. Then single crochet twice into the next stitch. Single crochet 3 times into the next, single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. Then lastly, single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. And then just single crochet across for 33 stitches. Okay, so this is my last stitch, and that is the end of row 5. You should have 96 stitches. Okay, on to row 6. We're going to single crochet twice into the next stitch, then single crochet once into the next 4 stitches. Then single crochet once into the next, single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then single crochet once into the next 4 stitches. And lastly, single crochet twice into the next stitch. Let me grab some more yarn. And then single crochet once into the next 4 stitches. And then just single crochet in the next 33 stitches. So I just finished my row, or the side, and then I'm going to single crochet twice into the next stitch, then single crochet 4 times into the next, single crochet once in the next 4 stitches. Then single crochet twice into the next stitch, and single crochet once into the next 4 stitches. And then single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then single crochet 4 times into once into the next 4 stitches. Okay, and then just single crochet across to the end of the row, which should be 33 stitches. Nearing the end of my row, and that is the end of row 7, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, sorry, that's the end of row 6. Yeah. And here you should have 112 stitches. So realized I've been counting my rows wrong, my notes are wrong. So I'm gonna write down by the bottom the actual correct amount of stitches. Sorry about that. But also what I'm gonna do, and I should have advised you guys to do earlier, is get a little stitch marker to mark the beginning and end of your row. I'm just gonna grab one right here. Okay, so I'm just going to mark this stitch right here, just so I know this is the end of my row. Just like that. Okay. So that was row 6. You should have 112 stitches. Okay, actually, sorry, just fixed my math. You should have 102 stitches. Okay? So that is row 6, and you should have 102 stitches. So we're going to do row 7 and row 8. I think that will be enough for the bottom of our bag. So we're going to start this row by increasing. So crochet twice into the next stitch, then single crochet 5 times, or once into the next 5 stitches. Okay, and then you're just going to repeat that around. So increase, single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then single crochet once into the next 5 stitches. And then just repeat that once more. Single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then single crochet once into the next 5 stitches. And then just single crochet across into the next 33 stitches. Okay, so I'm just finishing my row. So that, or I'm not finishing my row, I'm finishing my side, okay? Then we're going to repeat what we did on the first part of the row. So single crochet twice into the first stitch, then single crochet once into the next 5 stitches, and then repeat that twice more. So single crochet twice into the next stitch, then single crochet once into the next 5 stitches. Okay. And once you get to the end of that, you're just going to single crochet right across 33 stitches. Okay, I'm just ending my row. I'm going to take my little stitch marker out. Single crochet once into that stitch. Put my little stitch marker back in. Okay. So that should be your 7th row, and you should have 108 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, okay. So we're getting a nice big wide base for our bag, okay? So we're gonna do one last row of increasing, and then we're going to build up our bag. So we're going to begin this row with single crocheting twice into the next stitch, and then single crocheting once into the next 6 stitches. running out of yarn. Okay. Now repeat that twice more. Single crochet twice into the next stitch, then single crochet once into the next 6 stitches. Okay, and then once you finish that last increase, you're just going to single crochet into the next 33 stitches across. Okay, so I'm just working the end of that side. Then we're going to repeat what we did over here. So single crochet twice into the next stitch, then single crochet once into the next 6 stitches. And then repeat that 2 more times. Single crochet twice into the next stitch, then single crochet once into the next 6 stitches. And once you're done with that, you can single crochet the next 32 stitches and we'll be done with our 8th row. Okay, I'm just finishing up my row and I'm going to take out my stitch marker, single crochet my one last stitch, and then replace that. Oops. Okay, so you should have this nice big ovular shape. Okay, I'm going to just measure it and show you. Oops. That mine is about 4.5 inches wide by 14.5 inches long, okay? So depending on the type of yarn you're using, the size of yarn you're using, and then your tension may vary a little bit, but that's the basic size we want, okay? So for the next couple of rows, we're just going to straight single crochet all the way around, okay? I'm gonna leave in my stitch marker so I can count my rows up to tell how many I've completed, but I'll come in and check on you guys and show you my progress. But so when you start crocheting, single crochets around, so this is going to be the bottom of the bag, and so you're going to see it kind of curve and boat up, kind of maybe doing that already and twisting, but it will further, like this will even out and come up towards the edge. And don't worry, everything will shift out on its own in the meantime, but just keep going. So you're going to single crochet for judging by size, that was 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're probably gonna do 20-25 rows in additional single crochet, but I'll check in to see how my bag's going. But you can always differ. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. If you want it yours taller or shorter, that's okay too. You just cut the amount of rows you're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna start on my single crochet and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay guys, so I just finished my 16th row. So including the 8 rows of the increasing, I've done 8 rows of regular single crochet. So I just wanted to show you guys how it's looking so far, and just show you kind of what your bag is going to be looking like as you continue. So as you can see, since I've worked enough rows that it's kind of rounded out, it's just gotten to the stage where it's going to be like perfectly straight almost, and I'm just going to keep, making it taller and taller and taller. So this is also what it looks like from the inside. So when I finally have stuff in it, it'll be about this wide, which is, so roughly, probably I would say like 6 inches, give or take. This isn't exact math, and once you start using it, it'll stretch out a little bit, but we're preventing that by using the double strand, so it should be pretty sturdy. But this is, so I have about 6 inches wide by, I think, about 14 and a half inches long. So it's a fairly big bag. Looking at this so far, I would think I'm almost halfway done with the height. Maybe 4 more rows. So like another inch to the halfway mark. So here, and then double that, and then putting on, the strap. But so far, this is my 16th row. I just wanted to do a little check-in, just to show you my progress and how everything is going. But yeah, besides that, I'm just going to keep working, and I hope to see you guys soon. Okay guys, so I have just finished my 20th row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, so that was 20 rows. So this is what we have so far. So that's with 8 rows of increasing and then 12 rows of just straight single crochet. So I'm at 5.5 inches right now, and I came back to show you that I'm going to be switching colors to pink. So I just wanted to show you guys how to do that, and also just to make a few comments. So real quick before I forget, I placed my stitch marker here just so I know that this is, the general direction where my row ends. But I just want you guys to kind of notice how we used to end our rows here and how it's kind of migrated, so it'll keep migrating. So actually I think my end of my row was 3 stitches behind me, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be, completely even. But that's just, so if you notice that it's trailing, that's okay. So it's completely natural. It's just what happens because when you crochet back into a stitch, it's a little bit further behind than the stitch it was. So it kind of just migrates every row. So we're getting to switching colors. So I'm going to be using this pink for my color change. So I will be using 2 strands, so I split my ball into 2. So if you guys have never switched color before in a project, I just wanted to kind of show you what it's like, and some simple methods of doing so. So one of them would be to cut off your yarn and then just entirely join with a new slip stitch, just work it. I don't typically like to do that. It's not a nice and clean finish, but it's, if that's what you have to do because you're just a beginner, that's okay. So what I'm going to show you today, I'm actually going to take out this stitch right before, just so it's a little bit lined up more, and also because I want to make it kind of like even and look. So because it's in continuous rows, it kind of overlaps, so it's never completely like flat. If we joined every row, it'd be completely flat all the way around and you have clean rows. But because I haven't really done that, I just have to be kind of careful when I do this. So what I'm actually going to do is slip stitch, which you guys do not know. So a quick little tutorial about this. So you're going to insert your hook like a regular single crochet. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first loop, okay? So now you have 2 loops on your hook. This should seem familiar, okay? So usually for the single crochet, you would yarn over and pull through 2. But for the slip stitch, we're just going to take this first loop we have on our hook and continue to pull it back, okay? And this kind of makes it very tight and close to the bottom of or the top of the row we're just working. So this is a good way to kind of like close it off, and if you can kind of tell, it kind of because it's smaller than the single crochet, it kind of pushes it down. So when I start back up, it'll be kind of even with the pink, okay? So that was a little quick tutorial on the slip stitch. You'll use it occasionally if you need to join your rows, but it's not very difficult. You should insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through both of your loops. So there's that. But what I'm going to do, so that was just to show you what it looks like. But instead, I'm going to insert my hook. Instead of using the blue to yarn over and pull through, I'm going to use the pink. So how I'm going to do this is just hold the pink with my finger and like hold it like normal. But since it's not attached to anything, I kind of have to hold it with my one finger. So then you can move it so you're holding it like that underneath. And so I'm just going to do the same thing. So yarn over, pull through the first stitch, then we're just going to pull through the second stitch so that shows up better. So you can see that it's basically just a loop through the stitches, but I'm going to tighten both. So I have to pull the blue to tighten it around the pink, and then the pink to tighten it down toward the blue. Okay, so I've joined with my new color on my hook, because what would happen if I just started working with the pink, you would have a stitch that was partially blue, partially pink, and that's not the cleanest effect, and that's not what I want to go for. So now I'm going to continue working with the pink. So I'm going to work over my tail, so I'm going to chain one just to give myself some height, and then I'm going to single crochet back into that stitch like that. So when I come back around, I'm going to have to skip that chain, and it might show up a little bit, but I'm just going to have to be careful about how tightly so I'm going to tighten that up a little bit more so it's less visible. I'm going to tighten up the blue too. Okay, now I'm just going to go on my way crocheting with the pink. Okay, so I got in a few stitches. I just wanted to say, you can cut your string here, or your yarn here, because you don't really need it anymore. I didn't do that for the purpose of, I was just trying to finish that up. So when you're cutting it, you want to leave a little bit over so that you can sew in your ends, so that it has enough so it's not going to come out. You can sew it in well. So I'm just going to cut that up. I'm going to put my blue back into my basket. I'm just going to continue working. Okay guys, so I am just finishing up my row, and I'm about to switch colors because I am like out of yarn. So I just wanted to show you what that's like. So this is my back so far. I'm at almost 9 inches. 9 inches. And that is, this is 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That is row 34 of my bag, okay? So I just wanted to show you guys again the color switching and how it's going to look. But first I'm going to grab my new color of yarn, which is going to be this blue again. Okay, so I'm going to hold the blue yarn with my finger like that, because we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch to like finish off this row. So I'm going to insert my hook, and then instead of using the pink yarn to pull through and make a slip stitch, I'm going to use the blue. Oops, so it can be a little tricky to hold it and everything, but so I'm going to yarn over, pull through, oops, and then I'm going to pull through that second loop like that, okay? Going to chain one to secure it so it's not going anywhere. So once I do that, I can go to my back, tighten both the pink and the blue yarn so we make that like seam as small as possible. then I'm just going to work back into that stitch and single crochet again. And that's how I change colors. Okay, so just as I'm going, I'm working over my my strand of yarn, and I'm just tightening that to make sure it's the least visible it can be. So I'm going to continue a little bit more until I run out of more of my blue yarn. So I have a whole nother ball to work on, so I'll show you when I get there. Okay guys, I am back. I have finished the height of my bag that I like it at, and I'm going to start the handle. So, before we start, I want to make note that I have these paper clips in. So I have them, so if you kind of, here, let me flatten this out better because it's a little bit weird. Here, this one's better to show. So if you look at it, you can see both sides of the stitches, and then you have this one on the side. It's kind of weird, so we're not going to count that. So excluding that, you should have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14, and then on the 15th stitch you're going to paper clip or pin it, okay, on both sides, so they should line up. And then the same thing on here, so from that weird one, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6, 15, pin it. So these are going to mark our handles, where we want the handle to be. So you can make this bigger, you can make this smaller. I found this was a pretty good size because it's cut into fourths. It's pretty much the same size, but just having half of it in the center. So I usually start it from here. So this is, let's see if I can fit the entire bag on screen. There you go. So this is where I was starting every row. As you can see, my joins, I'm gonna go back and fix those later. And it's totally fine. I call this the ugly side, so I'll use it. So this side will be, facing towards me, while this is facing towards, out in public when I use it. So it won't really matter anyway, so you don't have to go back and fix it. I'm just going to and see if I can fix it. But anyway, so I started from here. This is where my row would have ended, but I marked my stitches and then I went around all the way up to the first paper clip. So you can do that real quick. Feel free to pause the video at any time to do whatever and then catch up when needed. Don't feel rushed. Probably should have mentioned that, but just go at your own pace. I've been doing this for quite a while, so I can kind of keep going pretty quickly. Okay, so you're going to, once you get there, you're going to single crochet all the way around right up to that paper clip. You're not going to go into that stitch, you're going to just wait, okay? Once you're there, we're going to make a chain for our handle, okay? So I'm going to start out with 30 to see how that looks. Okay, so that's 30. So I probably should have mentioned this before. So you have 15 on each side, or sorry, 14, and then the 1, 14, and then you should have 28 in the center on both sides. So I made a chain length that is 30, so it's a little bit bigger. I tested it out quite a few times. I started with 40 stitches, which was way too big. It was a huge loop, and I went down to 35, and I still wasn't really satisfied because over time your loop kind of stretches, and already it's pretty spacious. So I cut it down. I think this should be enough because I wanted to fit my arm through. To start out with, I wanted my shoulder, but I decided I wasn't ever going to do that. This was just going to be carried on my forearm. So I'm going to go with 30. You can do exactly 28 so it fits right on top of it, so it's like a nice and narrow strap. That works too. I mean, it's 2 stitches, it's not really going to do much. It'll still stretch, so you still have a little curved handle. You can do more if you want that big loop to go over your arm. You can do less. You can do exactly what I'm doing, what, you know, it's up to you. So once you have your chain to mount, make sure not to twist it. So make sure all of the chains are facing you. You're going to take your yarn and your hook, and you're going to single crochet into the stitch after the paper clip. So this can be a little tricky because the chain is kind of will twist on you, but you just kind of gotta be kind of gentle with it and gotta figure it out. Okay, so that's my one handle loop, and then I'm just going to single crochet around to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, so I just finished single crocheting around the side. I'm getting back to that paper clip. I keep calling them paper clips. They're not paper clips. They're clothespins or safety pins. Okay, sorry. So now you're going to do the exact same thing. So make sure you have the same chained mount on both sides so it's even. So I'm going to do 30 chains again. Okay, finish my 30, and I'm going to just single crochet into the stitch after the paper clip. So now you can take those safety pins out if you want to, or you can just leave them in, it doesn't really matter. But now you're just going to single crochet all the way around until you get the desired handle length. So I might go for at least 3 rows for my handles. I'll see how much yarn I have left over because I'm kind of working on the tail end of it. So we'll see how much that gets me. I might switch with another color just to make it a little bit taller if I wanted to. I'm also just gonna say you don't have to make your design like mine. You can make yours like a scrap project, which, let me grab an example. This is a little basket that I made. So as you can see, it's got yellow, purple, and blue, and it kind of just switches randomly. So I ran out of the yellow and purple, so I joined with the blue, and then that's how I ended it. So this is how your handles will look in the end, but depending on how thick you want them, like that. And they do stretch a little bit, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But so you can go for like a multicolored effect because we're holding 2 strands, so you can do 2 different colors. You can stripe it in, like color block it however you want. You could do total, you know, scraps of yarn that are just like, you know, little tiny amounts and just switch it every once in a while. Do whatever you want to your heart's desire, you know, make it your own creative piece. But so I'm just gonna keep crocheting around. I'll show you when we get back to the chained handle to show you what that looks like. But it's just the same thing as when you're starting out a project and you're single crocheting on the chain. It's just a little weird because it's attached to a whole bag. Okay guys, this is my finished bag. So I have 3 rows done on the handle, so I think that should be a nice hefty little, you know, handle. And let's see if I can fit the full thing into frame. Oops, not quite. But that's my entire bag. It is 13.5 inches long, including the handle, and 12.5 inches long without. And then it is about 16 inches wide. So there's the bag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!